Just a friendly reminder that the opinions expressed on this show are not worth a Canadian penny, so disregard anything you hear that might get anyone in trouble. And despite some of the great ideas you may hear, don't try them at home. Go to a friend's house instead.
It's time to get a gun. That's what I've been thinking. Well, I could afford one. And if I did just a little less drinking, time to put something between me and the sun. When the talking is over, it's time to get a gun.
Hello and welcome to Slamfire Radio. This is episode 309 for June 20th, 2019. I'm one of your hosts, Adriel.
And I am Random Dave, your other random host this evening.
The other random host. And all the other guys are at a cowboy action shooting match, I believe, is what they said they were going to be at.
Was it the cross-dressing cowboy action shoot?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yep.
Very good. Excellent. Yeah, Trevor does look fetching in a ball gown.
You can get him in that size. And it's surprising, but
it's a terrible thought.
They'd have to be very durable, wouldn't they? Make do with squats
maybe or something.
Tactical shooting and whatnot.
They do that in cowboy action? I thought they just stood around and talked.
I think they shoot too.
I went to. That's pretty much what they did.
Yeah, they need clothes that are very black powder repellent, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm really talking on my butt here. I have no idea. I've seen it a couple times. It looked fun. It's not my thing.
It did look fun, and I actually seriously thought about going out because some of them have I can't remember what they call it, but it's like a wild bunch or something where you could use a 1911 because technically it's old enough. So you could use your 1911, wear jeans and a collared shirt and a hat, and away you go.
I think as long as you wore like a full denim outfit, it should be fine, right? Kind of like that Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake picture from the 90s where they're both wearing full jean outfit like that plus a 1911. Good enough. Very classy.
That is just as horrifying as the thought of Trevor in a ball gown. That was a terrible photo. That was horrible.
Oh, it is terrible. All right. Why don't we get into the show here? What we did in guns this week is brought to you by the Calgary Shooting Centre, Canada's premier firearms retailer. Right now, they have the Desert Tech A2 chassis in stock. They've also got tons of Zev Glock parts and lab radars in stock. Dave, did you want to start us off with what you did in guns this week?
Well, yeah. I was going to say that since Trevor isn't here, that's the show for the evening. Thanks for coming out, folks.
We got to go straight into upcoming events. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. We're done. It will be a much shorter show with Trevor not here. So what I do this week, I went to the GAT show last week, and that was pretty cool. Some friends of mine, luckily my car was dead, but some friends of mine from town here happened to be going, so they chauffeured me, so I could certainly get used to being chauffeured about. That was rather relaxing and nice.
It's good for the environment. Just use that excuse. Hey guys, I just want to save the environment. Can one of you guys drive?
Yes, I need a man.
My car is a blight on the environment.
Well, we took his pickup truck, so I think my dead VW would have been a better, more environmentally sound choice, but we wouldn't have gotten there, which probably would have been very environmentally sound, but there wouldn't have been any shooting if we had done that.
No.
So we went down to the GAT show. So it was got the VIP package, which included really nothing worth spending time on, but at least I got my name in for a gun draw, which I wasn't really explained to me how it works. So I don't think I want a gun, but I don't know. The show was cool. There were a lot of people there. We went on Friday, so it was quieter than I expect it was on Saturday or Friday evening. We were there Friday morning first thing.
Well, it's the best to get there early anyways, because that's when all the deals are still around, right? You got to scoop those up before everyone else does.
Absolutely. So took a look around. There were a bunch of vendors there. They're on the website. I can't remember everybody was there, but Black Bear Tactical was there. Black Bear Gear was there, and our friends from Ragnarok Tactical were there. Mm-hmm. So picked up a children's ABCs of Guns book, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think I've seen those.
And picked up a plate carrier from Andrew's Beard. Got to hang out with Andrew's Beard, which was awesome as always. If you have never run your fingers through Andrew's Beard, if you see him in a match, make sure you run your fingers through his beard. It's an experience worthy of everything. So there are a bunch of vendors there, a ton of guns, a ton of gear, a ton of scopes. There were some good deals on things. Took a look around. Like there were some scopes that were a couple $100 off from different vendors. Vortex was there. They had all their stuff there. That was cool. The actual shooting, they had the ranges set up. They had different vendors. The NFA and the CCFR were there.
Mm-hmm.
My buddy that I was there with made a comment, which I thought was pretty funny, which was they both should have had lawyers standing outside their booth staring at each other. That would have been hilarious.
Very expensive.
Just stick a sign on
charge hourly.
Yeah, just stick a sign on one of the students that they got says lawyer and just stand there and glare at each other. That would have been hilarious. But my buddy did walk by the NFA and then say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were the CCFR," and then walked off. And he did the same thing to the CCFR, but the guy there had no sense of humor and didn't understand what he was saying. But I laughed.
Oh, well.
That's what counts. So we did manage to give no money for ammunition to the NFA. We waited until somebody else showed up with the same guns that we wanted to shoot. So that made me happy. Fired a 50 cal, fired a Scorpion Evo, fired a bunch of pistols. The 50 cal bolt gun was good. That was Cadex.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, very, very fancy schmancy and complete waste at 100 yards, but it was very loud. It was a baffled range, so you pulled the trigger and the world ended. So it was pretty awesome. There was a huge lineup for the 50 cals, of course. Everybody wanted to fire those. I don't know, there were probably a couple hundred people when we were there. Some confusion from the vendors, because the way it worked was you went and you got a ticket for ammunition. So you picked which caliber you wanted. They had a list of all the calibers and the guns at the different ranges as you walked by. So we went by the ranges, figured out what we wanted, and then wandered around asking people where we bought ammunition because nobody knew, including the vendors that were there. They're like, I don't know. You have to figure it out. Let us know how that works. So it was bad comms from the event organizers. We could have asked, I guess, when we walked in, but figured it would have been fairly obvious. Mm-hmm. But it was kind of weird. You walked in, you went down to there was sort of a vendor's tent, and then you walked through the vendor's tent, and then the ranges went off to either side of the vendor's tent. And I would have put the ammo like right there. They didn't. They put the ammo at the far left side of the range, and you could see the sign, but I kind of missed it because there was a lot of other stuff going on. So once we figured that out, we went and bought ammo. It was like generally $1 to $2 a shot, depending on what you're shooting. $10 for the 50 cals, but you're shooting other people's guns, so whatever, that's cool. Yeah. So we went and bought the tickets, and then went and shot a bunch of guns, visited the vendors, and wandered off.
Cool. Did they have the ammo off to the side, maybe just to keep it out of the way, so they could have a lineup there or something?
Well, there was probably, but they could have done that better. Like it was quite a ways off to the left. So I don't know, maybe somebody who, had better eyesight than me would have seen it. We just completely missed it. We kind of went that way, and then we went the other way, right down the range the wrong way, and then all the way back. And we found somebody, one of the staff, who told us where it was. So the staff people were all very friendly, but their comms could be a little bit better with their vendors. So everybody's on the same page. And a few of the vendors commented, because we went to a few of the ranges, said, "Hey, I want to shoot this pistol." And they're like, "Yeah, we showed up and we were told we couldn't fire pistols on this range, but your sign says you can." And they're like, "Yeah, Silverdale printed the signs too." So just bad comms. Maybe they had somebody printing signs who really wasn't aware of what the 1911 and 45 was. Like maybe somebody's husband who doesn't shoot or something was printing them. I don't know, but not a big deal.
Yeah. You can't really rely on the printers to know that stuff, but
yeah. Stuff changes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Overall, it was a good event. It was a lot of fun, worth going. And a couple of my buddies that I ran in down there, hey, Andrew, other Andrew, said that it was much better than last year. So much better organized. The comms were better, less confusion. So this is their second year, apparently. So looking forward to year 3. Definitely going to go.
Yeah. So, awesome. I mean, if that's your second time at it, maybe the next one will be even better. Yep.
Exactly. You learn a little more each time you do an event, right? So overall, not bad. I will be going back. It was definitely worth it. It was a lot of fun.
Cool.
What else did I do? I put my Colt lower together finally. One of the guy that Adam that I commuted down with, who was my manservant and chauffeur for the day, bailed me out because I put the entire lower together and then went to put my buttstock on and realized, oh yeah, collapsing buttstock, you need the stupid end cap, the end plate. That's the one part I didn't have to assemble the rifle. So I'm thinking like Saturday night, oh man, what the hell do I do? And I texted him and he's like, yeah, I got one. You can just come over and you can have it. So he saved my ass. So thank you very much, Adam. You are awesome, both as a chauffeur and a saving of ass with spare parts kit. And that's what I did.
Awesome. Yeah, it always pays, thinking back to like when I first got into ARs, like there were so many dumb things I did with my gun and with buying parts and that kind of thing that would have been saved if I just knew some AR buddies. You always got to have some AR buddies, a 1911 buddy, that kind of thing, so you can
exactly
get that kind of stuff.
Firearms friends with benefits. I had the thought when I called him, I'm like, you know what the world needs? The world needs a big database that just lists everybody's spare gun parts, and you just search for what you want, and it just shows up at your house.
Or you meet up at the range.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of which, you've got that shadow hammer that I needed, so thank you.
Yes.
You're my shadow buddy with benefits.
It's only semi-automatic. It's only fully semi-automatic. It's not fully not semi-automatic like yours.
Automatic.
Yeah, mine it disconnects when you fire.
Well, that's good. Hammer follow is fun, but horrifying at the same time. So.
Yeah. Are you going to replace the sear as well?
Well, the first thing I replaced was the sear because I figured that was primarily the part that was making it fully automatic. So once I replaced the sear, it was no longer fully automatic. Then it was semi-fully automatic. So I'm getting doubles and triples right now.
Yeah.
So once I replaced I took the gun apart again and looked at it really, really closely. And the quote unquote gunsmith that did the work filed down the hammer as well as the sear and the disconnector too. So I've got a disconnector, which a guy at the op missile match just like randomly threw at me. He's like, yeah. The guy, I'm like, yeah, I'm having this problem and blah, blah, blah. And I need to buy a new disconnector for it. And the guy's like, oh, hold on. He goes over to his truck and he pulls out effectively 5 guns in bags. Shadows, because he shoots shadows. His backup gun is shadow. Yeah, he's an IPSC guy, yeah.
That's why. So he's got the short disconnector. The disconnector's not going to wear out on him, so he doesn't actually need it. He's just carrying that around just for the sake of it, right?
He had extra slides, put it that way. So he basically had like probably 3 or 4 guns in parts in bags in his truck. So that was pretty awesome. So thank you very much, Mike. I appreciated that. And with your hammer, my gun will now be fully semi-automatic. So that'll be good for the charity shoot.
A regulation shadow.
Yeah. Silly laws and stuff. And safety. Stupid safety.
Yep. Safety.
Will no longer be the hold my beer and watch this gun.
Watch how fast I do this steel challenge.
Yeah, no,
I need to reload a couple times.
Yeah, it went full auto on the steel challenge, and the problem was you just shoot each target 10 times. So it really doesn't help
around it. Little short 3-round bursts. It's just not as effective as you think it's going to be.
No, not on steel. No, full auto is overall quite disappointing when you actually get the chance to fire one. Like everybody's like, "Oh my god, full auto!" And then, I mean, I've fired C8s and C7s full auto and C9s, and honestly, you fire them. The C9's awesome because it doesn't move.
Yes,
the FM Mini, it doesn't move at all.
Yeah, I would say that
100 yards
full auto on a machine gun, like a proper machine gun that's made for it, is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's awesome. But on rifles and stuff, like shooting full auto rifle, you get off a couple shots and it's off target. So it's not accurate. It's just really, really close range. You're going to put a lot of rounds into a sort of ish small target.
Yeah,
not really.
Subguns are cool. Tommy gun, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Never fired a subgun.
Oh, Tommy guns are so much fun because they're so controllable. The rate of fire is such that you can get your lean going on and you can be just pasting a target with it. Well,
if I'm ever in Las Vegas, I will try that.
That's the place to do it.
Yep.
Anything else this week?
That was everything. I've got a service rifle match at Borden on Saturday, so that's going to be fun. I'm going to be running the butts and the targetry for that for the Ontario Rifle Association, so looking forward to that. And that's it.
Cool. What about me? Let's see here. I ordered some replacement parts that I didn't really need for my one of my AR uppers and for the BCL 102. So I ended up I was thinking about the upper and the forend on that thing. I'm like, what if I got a different forend for it that was a lot lighter and used it for hunting this year because it's coming up pretty soon here, and I might not be able to get a hunting rifle before then. So I ordered some AliExpress forends.
Oh, God. Genuine
Chinesium, which might be okay or might not. I've got a Chinesium forend on one of my ARs. That's actually fine. It's It's a key mod 4-end. I got it for $25 or $30, something like that. I've heard some of my buddies have said like, hey, the barrel nut will rotate out if you get a 4-end that has the little like locking tabs on there. It's not, because it's going to hold into the barrel nut at least, so those ones won't walk off.
My question is, when you shoot it and it starts to heat up, can you feel the child labor tears burning out of the metal? I guess it's plastic for $25.
It's the heavy metals that you can feel leaching out onto your skin.
Nice.
Heavy metals. Yeah.
Vitamin mercury.
Vitamin mercury, you get it all right there, all in one shot. Yeah, I mean, it's so I've got one on one of my ARs. It's fine. There's been nothing wrong with it at all. I would say like the M-lock slots on it are a bit sharp. So when you like hold it in your hands, you're like, this doesn't really feel great. But I've never cut myself on it. It just doesn't feel good. It's just kind of angly. Which, so, I mean, if you really cared about, you could just get some M-lock covers, right?
Yeah. So the finish on it is it's not finished.
The machining is a little bit chintzy. I would say the finish on it is even fine. The finish on it is like an anodized that hasn't come off after my 3-gun abuse on it. So I don't care. And it was $30. So if I don't like it, I'll just throw it in the garbage.
That's the problem with our society today. I shipped it all the way from China, and I'm going to look at it, use it, and throw it in the garbage.
Yeah, I actually don't like it. That's what I do with phone cases. Rather than buy a phone case locally, I buy like 6 of them on eBay, and I try them on. And I'm like, nope, and I'll just pick the one I like. It's still cheaper than buying locally.
The future's landfills will be filled with AOL CDs and Adriel's phone cases and 4-ends.
Oh, AOL. Yeah. Anyways, so that's, I ordered some of those. Oh, and then, just to make you cry a little bit more, Dave. This came in the mail. So for the audio listeners, I've got a Lee Enfield 303. It's a number 4. I think. I haven't looked at it very closely. Just got it a couple days ago.
Number 4 Mark Fugling.
Yeah, number 4 Mark Sporterized. It's a Sporterized Lee Enfield. Which, that's okay. I'm going to shoot it. Maybe I'll shoot a deer with that.
You should probably cut the barrel down then too.
Maybe it's Canadian. Look, it's got Robertson screws in the 4-end. Maybe it's Canadian.
Who's the manufacturer? Did you check it?
The markings on it aren't clear, and it's hard to tell. So, no, I don't really know who the manufacturer is because let's see here. We've probably got like a Lee Enfield expert like on the YouTube watching CB
screaming at you.
CB2 on the serial on the wrist, and that's it. No year, no like this is a mark, whatever. It's very blank of other markings on it, and this goes up to 8. Like the rear sight aperture goes up to 8, which I think some of the other ones will go a little bit further.
Which is ridiculous.
I'll shoot 800 yards with that, right?
And hit a city.
Head out to the range, and my range goes out to 800. And there's a Buffalo steel target out there. I'll just load this thing up and all the way up to 8 and make shots, and I'll hit on the first shot, right?
I would be interested to see if you could hit that.
Maybe I'll try.
So
are there any markings on the left side of the receiver? No, the left side of the receiver is not marked, Bear.
I just Googled that actually, and the first hit was for CB Lee Enfield was on Long Branch. Maybe at a Long Branch.
Nada here.
But it should have more markings.
Does the muzzle have bayonet lugs? Yes, the muzzle has bayonet lugs.
It has multiple bayonet lugs? Like, wow, that's cool.
I don't know. It's got like 2 on each side. 1 bayonet, I think, is what they've... not 1 on each side. That would be cool.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. So that came in the mail. I'm still waiting on ammo for it, so I won't get out to shoot it. I got to go, like, some non-gun parties this weekend, so I won't be able to do much shooting. So, but I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to before the charity match, right?
And it is coming up. I'm leaving in a week.
Coming up quick. Are you driving?
I'm driving, yep.
You're a madman. You're a madman.
Assuming everything goes smoothly, it will be 33.5-hour drive. I was going to do it in 2 days, but I have talked to some friends that have done the trip, and they've given me some places to stop, and I'm going to work out of Winnipeg for a few days while I'm on my way out as well.
Yeah, cool.
So
Yeah.
it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
I think trying to do that all in a short stint would be painful. Yeah.
Well, I drove to New Brunswick. It was 14 and a half hours in one shot on the way out, and it was 17 and a half on the way back. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah.
I think like people on the show have heard me complaining about like there's no IPSC matches within 3 hours, and here's Dave driving 14 hours to New Brunswick for a charity match. Oh man.
Well, I just decided I wanted to go stay with Trevor and his lovely bride. So there you go.
Indeed.
It was worth the drive.
All right, well, we move on to upcoming events. So and we'll talk about it a little bit later because we're going to get Jason on the show, is the charity match that's going to be happening in Drumheller that Dave and I are talking about. Tickets are still available for that, and tickets are available on Eventbrite. So just search there. And I think Jason's going to talk about some of the stuff we're going to be able to do there when we get him on. I'm not talking about 3-gun news. The first one that we have here is this Wolverine Supplies. They're doing an annual morale patch promo for charity. They're trying to raise some money for charity with these morale patches. So when you purchase these, I think you get the ability to win some stuff. Yeah. They've got from Daniel Defense, a Daniel Defense Delta 5 308. That's a $2,900 rifle. They've got a Barrett Rec 7 direct injection 5.56 NATO. That's a $2,600 rifle. Mm-hmm. They've got a Big Rock Sports CZ Supreme Field over and under 20 gauge. That's a $2,000 shotgun. They've got a Steiner Ranger scope 3-12. That's a $1,500 scope. Oh. And they've also got a Duria Mark 12. That's a $1,000 shotgun. So a lot of, I think they might even have more stuff.
Very nice.
Yeah, they got lots, so much stuff. If you want to help out Wolverine Supplies, raise money for the CCFR and Ronald McDonald's houses, head on over to wolverinesupplies.com. This next one, I just saw this article coming up recently here. H&K is in dire straits. They're not doing well financially. Have you heard anything about this, Dave? Oh, I think your audio just cut out there.
Oh, I'm muted.
There you go.
I read about it a little bit, but I don't know a lot of details on it, but I'm not overly shocked.
They don't make it easy to buy their guns. I mean, not on the civilian market, at least. I know they focus primarily on military, but yeah, they're not doing fantastic here. Reports indicate that H&K is now struggling to keep its head above water, with hopes that boosting sales in fiscal 2019 buys the company at least one more year to go out of the red and fix the situation that it is in. Situation was so bad that just last month, H&K employees jointly voted to increase weekly work hours without paid overtime, as well as nixing a one-off payment for the month of July to provide their company some form of relief. So
that's pretty awesome, by the way, that the employees would do that.
Rather than just sink the thing right into the ground. Yeah, it is.
I know a lot of people that would just say, screw you guys, I want my money, and whatever, hell-bent for leather. So that's pretty cool that they're willing to do that. Shows it's a company they like working for.
Yeah, and they're willing to, make concessions to allow the company to keep ticking. So yeah, fairly neat. But it looks like, let's see here, issues of liquidity. They are going to need a big bump in revenue or face bankruptcy.
It says here as well, they did get two bridging loans from a major unnamed shareholder that helped them. Otherwise, they would have tanked in 2018. So that's not a good sign.
Interesting.
I wonder if there's just more people out there making stuff, or if they've priced themselves out of the market, or what, or exactly what is going on with them.
Yeah, I don't know. I like when I think about H&K firearms, the thing that comes to mind for me is just a lot more price than value on a lot of them, right? Like their pistols are way up there in pricing. And even like some of the other premier pistol manufacturers like CZ, they're selling a polymer striker fired pistol for $550 right now, right? Yeah. And they make nicer pistols. So it's like, I think that they're just relying too much on that premium and maybe military market, and they're not seeing the business right now.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, if they were selling more to civilians and made their stuff a little bit cheaper, I mean, I'd love a G36, but none of them. Well, I mean, there are some of them in Canada, but wow, I'm not never pay that. So.
I don't know if I'd buy a G36. Like, it would be restricted, right? Even if it wasn't, like, our, the funny thing that's happened like last year and this year is that our non-restricted AR options have gotten so good that we're spoiled. Like, you would have got a Tavor, like 3 years ago, if you would have been looking for a non-restricted semi-auto, you would have got a Tavor or a T97 or maybe like the 223. Yeah, an XCR, that kind of thing. And today you would get a modern Sporter for the same price, or you'd get a SLR, or you'd get, lots of the other different options out there. Stag 10 if you're into the 308 platform.
Yep. I just want one just because I want one. There's no particular reason to have one, but it's just one of those sort of iconic-ish guns that I want.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm pretty sure the SL8 has some kits that make it look like
they right? do. And I used to have an SL8. I sold it. It's not quite the same, and it's very expensive to do it. I looked into it and decided to sell the gun instead. So there you go.
Yeah, the SL8s are kind of pricey for.
They are for what they are.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a nice gun. The machining's nice. There's no complaints about them. But we had guys come out to matches when the what's the 308 version of the 416, that thing, come out to matches.
Mm-hmm.
And they're insanely expensive. Like, that is a crazy ass expensive rifle. And then the guy's complaining, I couldn't get any magazines. They're too much. I'm like, how much? He's like, they're about $200 each. What? No.
Yeah. It hurts even more when our mags are limited like they are in Canada. So not only do you pay a lot, but they're also pinned. Some caveman got after it with a drill and a 2-cent rivet.
Exactly. So yeah, painful.
All right, I want to move on to some new gun stuff. This first one, I don't think I mentioned this last week. So Troy and the 102 and the BCL. Have you heard anything about this, Dave?
I haven't heard anything about this one at all.
So Troy,
I wondered how it just popped out of nowhere like that. It was freaky.
Found out. So at first I'm like, what? This is really weird. Why are they making the 102? NEA is licensing it to them. So NEA, I finally found on a CGN thread, NEA licensed the 102 to BCL, and they're also going to license it to Troy to make. So that's the connection. That's why Troy is going to start cranking these things out, because NEA has licensed the design to them, so they can start building them. In fact, they might be coming in as BCL 102s. I think that's one of the things I saw in that thread. Or NEA 102s. Maybe it's coming. Yeah, NEA 102 is the FRT that they're coming in under, because that's the design, but they're manufactured solely by Troy.
Interesting. So I wonder if they'll actually work. Because I know yours doesn't work, so.
Well, it does now. No, it does now.
You fixed it?
They've got me the parts that fixed it. So it took the gas rings, the ejector springs, extractor spring. Like they just sent me all the parts for a bolt, and I put them all together, and it works now. So
that's good.
It does extract. Yep. I'm not quite sure what it was. I think like the ejector design, the gas rings were definitely very loose on the bolt that as it came. And just slapping those all in there, just add it all up to making it run properly. So yeah, mine runs now.
A couple of the reviews I read about it when it first came out were talking about how it had crappy gas rings. So you got this $1,700 rifle with like garbage gas rings. So awkward part sabotages a $1,700 gun. So that's good that they fixed it. That's very cool.
Yeah. I still think, like, if you were just going to buy it and do nothing to it, it's a good deal. If you're going to buy it and then actually you want 1 MOA accuracy, or actually you want like a lighter forend, don't buy a BCL. Get a Stag 10 receiver set and build it from the ground up, because at least my BCL, I'm not really getting better than 2 MOA with it, and I kind of want better than 2 MOA.
The one that I hunted deer with this year, it was shooting about 2 to 3 with the hunting ammo I had in it, more closer to 3, but a lot of that could just be me, because I don't shoot a whole lot, so I'm not like a super, super accurate shooter. But I was bench resting it.
You're not a scrub shooter, though. I mean, you do service rifle. You can shoot a rifle accurately.
Yeah, but I'm not. I don't know. I don't know it was so much the gun, but I would say 2 to 3 MOA on the one I was shooting.
Yeah.
But that was with hunting ammo too, so it's whatever.
That ammo would be punching in at 1 MOA in a bolt gun and a bolt 308. Yeah. Anywho, that's the story on that one. The other one. I'm gonna share my screen here because I want to show you guys. That's the share screen option, and that's the screen I think I want to share and show you guys. Iron Guns is bringing in some Stag 10 rifles. These are built with some other stuff. So they've got like a Magpul stock, and they've got a Faxon barrel. So these are a little bit lighter than the standard Stag 10s. These are 7 pounds, 11 ounces. And they're getting them in for $13.90 US, which is, I've calculated this, $18.64 Canadian. So you can get a Stag rifle-ish, because like, again, some of those parts aren't Stag. They're something else. For pretty decently cheap, I think.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Yeah. They're getting pretty reasonable in terms of pricing.
And that would be okay for a hunting rifle.
Yeah.
Drag that around.
I mean, it's heavy, right? Like, if we're going to talk real talk for hunting deer and that kind of thing, you can get like a 6-pound hunting rifle is very normal for a bolt gun. So this is about 2 pounds heavier, let's say.
I fired a 308 hunting rifle. It was about that weight the other week, and it was very unpleasant.
Yeah.
I fired a lot of rounds out of it. It was not fun. I didn't like it.
Yeah, no, they're imagine one in like 30-06 or so, or 300 Win Mag or something like that, right? And you really start getting the recoil up there.
Yeah, my buddy explained that you fire 1 round to zero it and 1 round into the deer and go home, so it's okay. But still.
Yeah. Anyway, Stag's bringing in some really cool stuff. Yep. The next one here is Spectre Ballistics. They're manufacturing a 1022 action that takes 5.97 mags, which is kind of interesting because our 1022s here in Canada can only hold 10 round mags because reasons. So now they're going to make one that takes the 5.97s just right from the factory. These are the same guys that made that 3D printed one that you can slot into a 1022 and makes it take 5.97 mags. This is just that without the block.
Okay. Oh, that's very cool.
Interesting. Kind of like an amalgam of Remington mags and Ruger gun.
I like it.
Yeah. They're having a contest where you can name it. So get on in there and give it some silly names.
Yeah, some of the suggestions are pretty good.
Yes, they are.
I like the Kukir.
If you're one of those people who has purchased an AR-15 stripped lower and you need to make an AR-15, Iron Guns is bringing in AR-15 complete build kits at $316 US. This is going to be the cheapest way to build an AR-15 by far. Like, I don't think there's another way to get cheaper than this.
No, that's very reasonable.
Yeah. $300 for your upper, your BCG, your like even the forehead's not even that bad. It's like one of them M-Lock ones there, lightweight. I can't imagine like the trigger is going to be that fantastic, and it looks like the stock is just a standard A2 carbine stock, right? But whatever.
Yeah, but for the money, get your gun together. So whatever.
Yeah,
if you want just a blasting rifle or just a rifle for just to have it together, that's quite reasonable.
Very reasonable.
And hell, I bought my lower parts kit, and the lower parts kit was $100. So you get up there pretty quick when you get your bolt carrier in there.
Get your buffer kit and your spring and your buffer tube. There goes another $60 to $80, and yeah, that $300 US gets up there pretty quick. Have you seen anything about this new naming contest they had for High Points pistol?
Yes.
Of course you have.
I like that. The pitchforks and torches. That made me laugh.
So these days, if you run a naming contest on the internet, you better be ready for some really terrible joke ideas to win.
I'm still upset that Bodie McBoatface didn't win.
Yeah.
I stopped caring about DC once that happened.
Yes, they betrayed everyone. But enough pressure has been put on High Point where they have to start looking at this. So the Yeet Cannon 9 or the YC9 is definitely got the lead right now. And looks like they're going to go into some final phase of voting coming up here, where they're going to desperately try to get people to vote for a different name. and they're going to fail.
I don't know why they don't just leave it. That's funny.
They should. And you know what? The funny thing is, so H&K was giving them grief about this. They're doing the Wendy's social media pressure game, and they're putting pressure on them, saying like, hey, you're on a naming contest, you better get ready for the Yeet Cannon. But even other manufacturers have started playing off of it and starting to cash in on on the hype. So PSA, or Palmetto State Armory, they've got a Yeet Cannon AR-15, and take a look at the different safety and that kind of thing. One of them's the guy that's got like his hands up, his hands down, and the other one he's doing a dab for the full auto. Backlash 15, yeah, nice. Yeet Cannon.
Nice.
Very serious companies out there doing very serious gun company things.
See, I love when people do stuff like that. It's just freaking funny.
Yeah,
like it's just hilarious.
Oh, you got to have fun with this stuff, right? And
well, and why not? I mean, if we'll throw stuff out there, then just go, well, you know what? Fine. Just do it. Prove that you actually are cool. And that's part of the problem with modern society. And that's what got the British oceanography guys nailed, is because they're, look how hip and cool we are. And we're in with the young people and we're doing internet things. And oh my God, people didn't take it seriously. Oh, you guys suck. And oh, this is serious. I'm like, well, now you look like old fuddy-duddies.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to look young and cool, then hey, you got to roll with it.
You got to roll with it and start a Yeet Cannon lower based on one of your competitors balking at the idea.
Yep.
Yeah. And then finally, this last one. So we talked about the unissued Mosins last week. So Rangeview Sports had some unissued Mosin Nagants, and it turns out they weren't unissued.
What?
They were refurbs. So there's some people who are mighty pissed off on CGN right now. I bet you if I go into Red Rifles, I will find them complaining about it here. Oh, they're not out here right now. Anyways, they were refurbs. They weren't unissued. So
$200 gun, and they paid $6. I'd be pissed.
Yeah. It was they were like $550, and they should be $260 in this day and age, somewhere around there. Yeah. So if you ordered one of those, get in contact with Rangeview Sports and figure out what to do. Right now, they're saying they're not going to do refunds or anything like that, but I think they have to, because they weren't never issued rifles. They're all refurbs.
Yeah, I would be pissed. I mean, that's just terrible for business. Come on, guys. So obviously somebody took them, but I'm guessing they didn't spec them fully, or
I think they were saying the U.S. exporter made a mistake and listed them as that, but
and then charged the appropriate price. Clearly, otherwise maybe they thought they were getting a sweet deal on unissued, and damn it.
I mean, unissued would be really cool. Like to get a Mosin that has never been issued, never been fired before, and is, you're the first person to own it and fire it from new. That would be really cool.
I would be very curious how accurate they would actually be, because most of them have been used and abused a wee bit.
Well, I think a lot of the Arsenal refinished ones, or Arsenal refurbished, like their bores are okay. I'm just trying to think about, like, some of mine have been okay. Some of them have not been okay. Because I think I've owned 3.
Yeah, I have 3 in my safe, and they're a mixture of meh to pretty much perfect. Like, they look really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think it's good variety between them, and I think that it really depends on the refurb and just like what they found acceptable. Because a lot of this stuff, they, basically after the World War, like, woo, all right, for the next one, because we're probably gonna have another one in 20 years. Let's take all these crappy old bolt actions and let's grease them up and store them just in case.
Yeah, exactly.
Rearm everyone,
and then they fell, and the guns hung around.
Keep them around in grease, give them to the rear guard, and until you start running out, like we did with our Lee Enfields.
Yeah, I was thinking though, I wonder what it would cost if you actually fired up and you started making these things new. I wonder what they'd actually cost to manufacture new.
Oh, they'd probably be atrociously expensive,
like $1,000.
I guess it depends on what quantity as well, because they made millions of these things. Yeah, so I'm not sure I'm not sure what they would cost, because like some of the processes would be like, how do you even make this thing these days? Like this is someone hand finished this tiny little part. Now what do you do for that? I guess you'd stamp it out of steel or put it in a CNC machine and have it do all the work, right?
Yeah, it would be interesting to see. Just try manufacturing one new, even machining it all, and just see what it would actually cost to manufacture one.
Yeah, I know. Like one of the reasons why I really like the SKS platform is because they're like $200, and you get a ton of value for that, right? It would cost way more than $200 to make one of those these days.
Oh hell yeah! Except in China.
Except in China. Yeah. Jason, how's it going? We can't hear you.
Not bad, Adriel. How are you? Hi, Dave.
Oh, there you go. Yep.
Hello, Jason.
Oh, hello.
We can hear you.
I'm almost home, so if you want to give me another 2.5 minutes, I'll be on Wi-Fi, and then it'll be all good.
Perfect.
Yeah, sounds good. We'll do that then. All right. Why don't we? Let's see here. Maybe just while we're waiting for Jason, we'll just check in on our YouTube listener feedback. Let's see here. I'm gonna go up to the top. Adriel and Random Dave, non-prohibited Shadow. Bear, you were asking about the wristband. I had some serial numbers on the wristband. I think I mentioned them, CB2 something or other there. So, and then the rest of the serial number. So I'm not sure beyond that. He's saying that that's the carbine sight, but because I have the long barrel, it's going to be off. So I won't be able to just dial it to 8. Maybe I'll have to dial it to 9 or 11.
11.
Yeah. I wish I'm going to get like a
Dial
paint
to 11.
pen. I'm going to put it to 11. Yeah.
Always set it to 11.
Yeah. Let's see here. What else we got here? SL8, isn't the SL8 non-restricted? Jason, I'm just going to mute you while you're driving. There we go.
The SL8 is non-restricted, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the cool things about it.
Yep.
Let's see. Stag 10 with IBI 6.5 Creedmoor barrel is the ticket to accuracy out of an auto. Jeremy, I like the way you think. That is exactly what I would do. Is I would get a Stag 10, an IBI barrel, in 6.5 Creedmoor, of course. And yeah.
Yeah, IBI, very tasty.
Very tasty. And I mean, if you're going to get a barrel anyways, Kate, you're going to get a barrel for your Stag 10. You could get a $200 barrel, or you could get the $400 barrel. And the $400 barrel will be amazingly accurate and excellent. And the $200 one might or might not. I would go for the nice one right off the hop.
I would too. I mean, if you're spending that much money on something, you know, why would you buy yourself a Ferrari and then stick a Pinto engine in it? I mean, you're just going to cry later.
Yeah, I might cheap out on some of the other parts, but not on the barrel.
No.
Not on the barrel. That's where you get your accuracy out of those things.
Yep.
Also love the LMT stock.
I am going to do the maple seed, Greg, in the charity shoot.
Oh, there we go. Are you signed up for that?
Yep.
Sweet. Are you bringing a rifle across the country to shoot it with?
I am bringing a pile of guns across the country to shoot it with. I was actually going to shoot it with my pistol, but then I think I might bring my single shot Cooey.
I could just.
I hear that's the thing to shoot them. No, yeah. I hear the thing to shoot maple seeds with is a single shot Cooey, and I know that Kelly is maybe listening right now and screaming at her radio, or she'll scream at this later, so that'll be good. I'm going to bring it though.
I mean, if you want to really get the top score, use a 4570 or something like that, a single shot 4570, because they make such big holes. You're definitely going to break the line. So,
well, I'm debating whether I'm going to shoot it with this Colt Canada AR, because I do have that much ammunition sitting here right now, and I'm a much better shot with that than I am with my 1022. So, yeah, but it's like, what, 500 rounds? That's a lot of ammo.
I don't know. So do you have a 22 you're bringing out for it?
Yeah, I got a 1022, but I'm going to bring Kelly will listen to this, so she'll know my little joke, but I'm going to do it to the other instructors. I'm bringing the single shot Cooey.
And just rolling in.
Just to be a
dick. On the fly. Yeah. So I'm going to need a lot more time. You guys, this 55-second thing, like, whew, it's hard. If you can, do you have like a wristband that'll hold like ammo in it?
So you need somebody to just stand beside me and just drop ammo into the receiver while I work the bolt. I'm gonna be a crew served 22 single shot.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this, but I need an assistant when it's the 55-second one. Okay.
Yep. I will need a loader.
Need a loader. Can't just pull them out of your pocket. That would be funny. You just pull the trigger. So get someone else to actually run the bolt and put a bullet in there and
keep shooting.
Yeah.
Jeremy has a good point. The $200 barrel turns into a $600 barrel when you end up buying an IBI eventually everywhere. Anyway, and that is what happens when people cheap out on guns or anything. It doesn't matter what you're doing. I bought some cheap power tools and I have regretted it ever since. And I finally got a little bit of spare money the other day and bought some good power tools. And oh my God, I am so happy.
Okay, but what about $300 AliExpress forend?
I don't know if I'd pay no.
They don't have them. They only got $30 ones. What about a $30 one?
So for me, I would rather save my money for a little longer and get something decent. My dad had a saying, which I think is brilliant, which is only rich people can be cheap, can afford to be cheap. Because if you buy cheap stuff, you're just buying more and more cheap stuff. And eventually you find you've spent more on your cheap stuff than you would have just buying the good stuff in the first place and not worrying about it. So I always tell people you buy the best quality that you can afford. So, don't run out and, buy yourself a super high-end $5,000 AR, but maybe rather than the $600 AR, you can afford an $800 AR.
Or a $500 barrel and a $30 forend.
DB Mead, I'm really tempted to do as much of an AR build on AliExpress as I can. I would be interested to see just how cheap you could actually build an AR.
I was talking to a guy on Tuesday, and he got a muzzle brake for $15 off wish.com.
Wow.
And he was running it, and it was steel. Yeah, that's incredibly cheap. So
wow. I don't know if it works, it works, but yeah. Okay, so for muzzle brake, yeah, whatever. It's a little steel tube as long as it's lined up straight and you're not like cutting grooves through it, which I saw with one of my buddies.
Or if it loosens and comes off and goes down range.
I've seen that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but that would be very interesting. You go ahead and do that, DB Mead. You see how cheap. Maybe we should have a contest. Who can build the absolute cheapest AR that fires at least 2 shots?
And then go shoot a match with it. A really important match.
Yeah, like a level 3.
Yeah.
Like a big
if they existed.
Drive for 20 hours.
Such a thing.
Match with it.
That would be fun.
See if you can win enough money to buy a real gun.
Yeah. Or win a gun at the match.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Jason, are you on your home internet? You'll have to unmute yourself because I had to mute you while you're moving around there. We believe in you.
You can
do it.
Oh, no camera. He hit the wrong button.
Nope.
So close.
So close. Could have been, should have been. Almost there. Hello, Jason? Jason, are you there? Oh, he'll rejoin us.
He is not. Oh, he kept hitting the wrong buttons and got himself off the internet.
Yep. Right off the internet. But yeah, I mean, the only thing on it. Oh, sorry, Jason, go ahead.
Oh, no, I just tried to unmute and I hung up, so I had to join the call again.
There we go.
And how's Adriel? Off the road and onto Wi-Fi.
There we go.
Welcome back.
We're talking about cheap guns, cheap accessories on guns, Robertson screws on rifles, that kind of thing. How about you?
I hate Matthew, too.
Oh, poor Matthew. He's cute.
He got a free AR. It's not right.
Well, it didn't work right, did it? It was still free. Maybe there was a reason it was free. That was pretty cool.
What did you say about, you have to be rich to be cheap? Kind of, right?
Yeah, that was my dad. Yeah, only rich people can afford to buy cheap stuff.
I will agree with you when it comes to pistols, because I think I've owned like 5 different pistols I've used in competition, and I should have just got one of these guys off the hop, and I would have been done. Oh,
I have a terrible story about a CZ75, right?
Yeah, a Shadow.
So I made a deal with one of my customers at work who's had been instructed by she who will not be named but must be obeyed that it was time to get rid of all the guns out of the house, and he didn't want to. But we made a deal where I could get his CZ858 and his CZ75 Shadow for $1,000, and then he couldn't find the paperwork. And before he found the paperwork, he lost the wife, and now I got the rifle but not the handgun.
Oh, gotta be Johnny on the spot.
Oh, I wasn't willing to take it without the paperwork, and yeah, the fight got worse and worse and worse at home, and eventually he got to keep his handgun, but had to get a new wife.
Terrible option to take. So, Jason, tell us.
Expensive handgun.
Yeah, we've been teasing out some details about the charity match in Drumheller here, but you're kind of at the center of the organization on this thing. So, why don't you tell us, our listeners, kind of what they can expect and what we've got in store for them for this thing?
Well, we're going to have to stop calling it a match because the original intention was to make it the most intense, hard-fought competition I'd ever been part of. And then when it came down to being at the Drumheller range, and they don't allow shotguns at that particular range due to some landowner restrictions, I figured, well, if no shotguns, I'm not going to be competing in anything. So it's just going to be a fun shoot now.
I'm glad you have twisted it to your advantage.
Yeah, well, listen, when you're the only one twisting, there's no sense doing it any other way.
Yeah.
So actually, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to start with the 8 o'clock is the official start. It's going to be pretty casual. There's going to be a safety briefing for everybody that's there at 8 o'clock, and then a rolling safety briefing for anybody that shows up during the day. It's not a real big structure to the day because of A, the nature of the range, and B, the first time we've done this kind of thing in Alberta, and the fact that nobody actually lives right close to the range to make it super simple. We just made it a participatory thing. We encouraged the range to spread the word to all the members of the community to come out and do it because it's such a meaningful charity that we're raising money for within the Southern Alberta region. So what it's going to be is there's going to be no moving forward of the firing line at the rifle range. It's all going to be self-healing targets at 25, 50, and 100 yards. Mm-hmm. And then at 200 and 300 yards, we've got steel targets. Now, everybody pays to play. So there's going to be no extra charge to shoot your own rifles or anything, or you want to shoot at 25, 50, and 100 yards. If you want to shoot your own rifles just for the fun of shooting them at the steel targets, no problem. If you want your time recorded at 200 and 300 yards, then it's going to be, here's the contest. Here's where everybody gets to compete. And I haven't figured out the exact math on how to award the prize because it's a pretty fancy prize. The fastest person to get 5 shots on the 4-inch flapper in the silhouette target at 200 and 300 yards. We'll run the same type of competition at both. To have your time recorded, you got to put a toonie in the bucket before you start. Now, if you want to get a better target or a better time, just put another toonie in the bucket and try again. You have to do a mandatory mag change because guys like me have a 4-round magazine in their bolt action rifle, and the bolts and settings are run together. Realistically, I expect probably a bolt gun's going to win it with a real smooth action because a guy with a semi is going to go too fast and miss the flapper. So I'm not sure if it's properly called a heart attack target, but I was told that's what it is. So it's got a 4-inch flapper in the middle that we're going to have it as a contrasting color. You have to put 5 rounds to hit the flapper. So if you get one that just outside of the flapper, 200 and 300 yards, you should be able to hit a 4-inch target. I would expect with most rifles. Then you have to hit all 5 on the flapper for it to count. And we'll do some funky math between caliber and time. So the bigger the caliber might be a little bit better because it's handicap. And we'll have a prize at the end of the day for that. All the prizes are going to be awarded at the banquet in the evening. So if you're not, as far as I know, everybody who's coming to the event is coming to the banquet where we'll have silent auction and live auction and raffle and such stuff as well in the pistol event. Now, here's kind of exciting that we, while we're at the CCFR AGM, the guys from Alberta Tactical Rifle decided, hey, why don't we bring some fancy stuff to the charity shoot? And I said, there's no reason not to bring fancy stuff, but what have you got in mind? And they have a prop department attached to their company, which I didn't know until the day. So they're going to bring out some pro hibs. Now, we've been lobbying the CFO to get full carte blanche, anything they can pro hib. So it's not off the table yet, but we don't have permission for anything full auto at this point. But any 12-6 short handguns are going to be brought, and you have to sign a release that you can be videotaped because it's part of the filming, which gives us the permission to have them shot. And we're going to do a know your limits. So in the one pistol bay, we'll have it targets at, you'll stand on the 15 yards from the berm, targets at 5, 10, and at the berm. And there'll be 8, hang on a second, 5, 10, 15, there'll be 6 targets. You've got to shoot all 6 of the flapjacks. So that way you don't have to go down and mark, has to tape targets or mark them. You'll see them flap in the wind. You have to hit 6 with 8 shots. So you don't have to be 100% accurate, but you have to hit all 6. And then we'll do some sort of funky math there too with caliber, short of barrel, et cetera, et cetera, or
Just
your
time.
own handgun.
Just go time. Yeah.
Yeah, there's got to be
on
handicap.
hits.
If you're gonna shoot a 2-inch 357 Magnum or something similar, it might be a little harder to control at 15 yards than your compensated 22 with a red dot. We'll do some sort of math there.
You made that choice.
But the good news is ATRS is going to be there. They're going to handle it and run it. They'll be supplying the ammunition. It's a pretty important thing that if you're going to shoot their guns, you have to shoot their ammunition. They have promised they're just going to be very, very reasonable in their pricing on their ammunition. So it can't be no shooting your ammunition in their guns. I believe they're bringing several of their Modern Hunter, Modern Sporter, Modern Varminter, and I'm not sure what other models they have off the top of my head, but they're going to bring a selection. Part of their sponsorship, of course, is that they would like you to make a commitment to buy one of their rifles on the way home, which would be a fantastic thing to do. And then Trevor's obviously volunteered his time and talent to teach people who have never shot IPSC how to do an El Presidente drill, which will be unholstered off a barrel start because we don't know anybody's specific pistol experience. So we'll do a barrel start El Presidente. And just because I like to twist them a little bit, and Trevor's such an important figure in the IPSC community, we're going to use IDPA targets. And those are already, I just figured it'd be fun, right? Now, that's the fun. That's the shoot. There will be lunch supplied by the volunteers for the BC AVA. They're going to bring a barbecue, and they're going to be, as far as I know, hot dogs and hamburgers and drinks and chips and such at the range for lunch. Following the day's shooting, we're going to go to the Rosedale Hall, which is just a couple of miles up the road. The Rosedale Hall is also, we're going to have the Stop the Bleed course. Gavin from that other podcast that we've never, I don't know what the name is.
Ragnarok Tactical and Canadian Patriot Podcast.
No, the other, don't we just call it the other podcast? He's going to be putting on the Stop the Bleed course, and we do appreciate that because he's going to be contributing to the donation to the charity at the end of that as well. So that's going to be awesome. There'll be morning and afternoon classes there. Cocktails scheduled to start 5-ish, dinner 5:36-ish, and we'll have our live auction, silent auction, and raffles and prize givings throughout the evening. And the plan right now, I have to do a little bit more homework, and I should have it all tied up tomorrow, is having a live podcast event there. So we'll have some recording equipment, we'll have some microphones, we'll have some podcast hosts, quite possibly some rum, rye, whiskey, vodka, and beer. And the guns will all be put away by that time. So we have the hall until Sunday morning. So it could be a very long podcast. And that's the event. Now I just secured today, and I hopefully pick it up either tomorrow or Sunday, is the prize for the most important competition. So of course we're going to have Podcasters Choice Awards. So each of the podcasters present will be able to provide an award for somebody who has done something that is worth remembering. And we're going to memorialize that with a small trophy. And then we have the McClatchy Award, which will be presented. And that will be quite possibly to the person who puts the most toonies in the bucket to have the most scores recorded and just can't quite beat me because I'm not expecting to do very well at that kind of thing because I'll be busy running around. I do want to try. So to be fair, the McClatchy Award is going to be, at this point, unless somebody has a much better idea, is going to be whoever tries the hardest to get the best time, but just can't quite get it. That's kind of what we think for the McClatchy Award because it's based on accuracy or lack thereof. And we do have a very special prize for he who eats the most pig. Now, we did start off saying this is a pig roast, pig in the ground. We had to change it. It's pig on a spit. It's a pig on a spit.
Nice.
Now,
I don't really see the allure of the Hawaiian like pig in the ground thing either. I like a spit.
I've had them both, and I'd like to have both again.
At the same time. At the same event.
Some things don't.
Hell of an event.
Yeah, dirt pig or air pig. Right. Spiral pig.
Still good.
So we have a very special prize for that. I will keep it secret until the day. And I'm looking forward to, more than anything, people from within the local community coming together to meet people from far and away who are part of a like-minded frame of mind supporting what I think to be a grossly underfunded, very worthwhile charity, which is the Big Country Anti-Violence Association and the local Humane Society. Like the Humane Society is tied to many events that the range does, and then they requested that we split it, and they've been so accommodating with everything that we've asked for. Then I there was no way to say no. And the donation of the Big Country Anti-Violence Association is a little self-serving. Like I really, really, really would like to support them, give them a monstrous check with everybody saying, hey, this is the gun people doing gun things, doing good things with good people.
Oh, you're breaking
and let's capitalize on this as best we can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you get me, or did I have to say that again?
No, we got the gist of it there. Yeah, I mean, I think that firearms matches being charity events is a fantastic thing because it's a way that we help out the community. I think when you look at a lot of the county issues that and zoning issues that we have and visibility issues, I think a lot of it can be solved by engaging in our community and raising money. I mean, this is fantastic that we're going to be helping these two really great charities and that they're really engaged and they're helping out with the match as well. So I think it's fantastic.
I'm just happy we were able to bring it to Alberta. Like I kind of wish we'd had a bigger team and a closer range, that we had more people close together doing it. But the group effort from right across Canada has been actively. Again, hate to mention another podcast while we're on this podcast, but Thomas from the New Shooter Canada came through with some pretty substantial donations. We've got at least 4 guns. I hope there's a couple more that are still in negotiation in the works, but there's 2 handguns and 2 shotguns, which I think is funny because you can't shoot shotguns at that particular range, but it's all right. There'll be an evening afterwards.
Still win one.
That's right. You can still go home with one. So that's yeah. Like I've got box of clay targets, gun case from Cabela's, holster, 2 separate holster kits. And we've had great support too from multiple people. It was a little slow getting it up and getting it started, but the promotion on Facebook with all of the donations having their separate listings, and it's been a big team effort from all across Alberta and across Canada. So it's been really, really exciting to be part of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think when I've been watching the page as well there, I think that one of the things that's been nice is the different CCFR FOs stepping up and helping out in each their own different way, whether it be helping to promote or helping to put together a poster or helping reach out to some different businesses. It's been really great that a lot of people have been helping out. And you, Jason, because you've been doing all the work. Well, not all the work, but most of the work.
Just the stuff that's on the ground. It's pretty important that because of my work and what I do for a living, I am involved with a lot of fundraising activities. So it's really hard. It's not hard and impossible for me to go and actually solicit donations from people because I'm involved with so much fundraising throughout the year. To have other people do that, the operational side, worst case scenario at the end of it, we were going to have a bunch of guys get together and shoot some targets, eat some pig. Like that's the worst it could possibly be. Now to make it better, more people, more money, bigger donation, but we're still going to have a bunch of good people get together and shoot some guns and eat some pig. Oh, and some corn on the cob and some other salads, but mostly pig.
Salads. Come on, who needs that?
You don't make friends with salad, but they are delicious. I will be there for the salad and the pig. Not necessarily in that order.
Awesome.
But Jason, it's been yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say it's been such an interesting thing to do. I really do expect actually this range to do it on an annual basis. Not necessarily a podcaster's charity shoot, but the Drumheller District Shooters Association runs multiple community outreach events throughout the year, from ladies' days to community days to bring your kids out. And big hats off to them too for being able to host it and willing to host it and make accommodations that make it work.
That's fantastic. Yeah, all that stuff. I mean, as a community, that's the stuff that'll keep us alive when the politicians come after us, and it's just the right stuff to do. I mean, if you can help people out, then you have an obligation to do it. So this is wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so I've been telling Jason to head on over to Eventbrite and search for the Podcasters Charity Shoot there, and it pops right up for me when I search for it. I don't know if that's because I bought my tickets already, but for everyone else out there, yeah, if you want to check it out, go on over to Eventbrite, get your tickets there. or find the Facebook page as well, where there's a lot of action going on there.
And please don't hesitate to reach out, jason.philp@firearmrights.ca. If you have any questions, I've got a few people that are mailing me some guns that I'm going to be babysitting. I'm not exactly sure how it's all going to work. My family is going to be camping in the Drumheller Valley after Canada Day. But that's another thing, too. Bring your family, even if they're not shooting. Like the Drumheller Valley has a ton of stuff to do, from the Dinosaur Museum to the hoodoos to the coal mine. The coal is fantastic. Like there is a ton of stuff to do in Drumheller. Come for Canada Day, stay for the week, stay for the charity shoot.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm doing. Is I'm hauling the family out, and I'm gonna leave them to go look at some dinosaur bones or go to the coal thing. The coal thing is pretty cool. Anyways, there's a bunch of stuff to do in Drumheller other than shooting.
I'm going to hang around for a couple days afterwards and just see what's up. I saw the hoodoos and I'm like, I want to go hike up those.
Yeah, it's perfect for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I'm still trying to get a gopher field for Sunday, but around my house, nothing. A little east where Drumheller is, there are gophers, but I haven't got anybody's permission yet. We're still working on it.
Still working on the gophers. Well, you've done a lot, Jason. So I just wanted to say thank you again for helping to put this together, and see you in a couple of weeks.
I'll be there.
Thanks. Woo. And on to the rest of the show. All right. Thanks again to Jason Philp for coming on. I just wanted one more thing I wanted to mention for the listeners of the show. If you know a company who would want to help sponsor that out, please reach out to Jason. That's jason.philp@firearmsright.ca, or hit us up on Facebook and we'll get him in touch with you. Let's head on to listener feedback. Let's see here. We've got a couple of different emails here. Dave, do you have the show notes open?
I do.
Oh, that means you're going to read some of them.
Some of them are so long. I'm not reading that.
Listener feedback is sponsored by Armory DC Gunsmith. Armory DC Gunsmith is a full-service gunsmith who specializes in firearms refinishing. He offers hot bluing, parkerizing, and Cerakote finishes, as well as wood refinishing. Check out his online inventory of new and used guns, firearms, accessories, optics, and more at dcgunsmith.ca. And right now, Trevor is saying that all in-stock Browning and Winchesters are on sale, everything between 20 and 25% off MSRP.
And despite the fact that Trevor hangs around with him, he's also like a super, super nice guy. I chatted with him at the last charity shoot. He is an awesome dude.
Yeah. Do you want to take this first one from Evan?
Oh, the short one? Sure. I'll take that one.
Yeah, nice.
From Evan. Hey, guys. First off, I love the show. Thanks for everything you do in podcast and guns. You're welcome. I listened to the show about CRPS and looked into it a bit more. I'm looking at getting a rifle to get started. I currently have a 22, but it's a single shot. Is it a single shot Cooey? Because that's what you should have. I'm looking for suggestions on a rifle. I wonder if anybody showed up at a CRPS with a single shot Cooey, because I was tempted to do that as well. Just
for CRPS, it's not. I don't think it's that. Well, there's a couple stages where it might be a disadvantage. The Mad Minute, where you have to reload and fire a whole bunch, would be a disadvantage. But I think a lot of the other ones, it's not a huge disadvantage because time isn't the critical factor. It's making the shot.
So my iron sight Cooey.
You're good to go for CRPS. Yeah.
Okay, I'll try it. I get a bit obsessive over details and research, so much that I never make a decision. What would the experts recommend for a rifle and optics? Thanks again, Evan.
Well, he didn't give a price range, so Voodoo V22. What would you top it with, Dave?
Oh, I don't even remember what Bolivar won.
Maybe like a Night Force.
Was that a Night Force or something?
Yeah, or a Vortex Razor HD2 or a Night Force something or other. Maybe a Calais or, something expensive.
Something terribly, terribly pricey.
Yeah, whatever you can to make that rifle like right around $6,000.
Yeah, because there's nothing like rolling in with a $6,000 22
and no experience.
Yeah.
Don't practice at all with that stuff. No. Just bring it in.
Probably not even throw the optic. Just like put the optic on the line.
I've got some Winchester 5.55. I just gotta try it out here.
Yeah.
Okay. There's got to be some more pragmatic choices for him. What would your choice be for a value price 22 in optic?
I don't know on optics because I'm looking at that right now. I have no idea. I'm shooting a I'm not shooting CRPS, but my competition 22 is a crappy 1022 with a 1980s optic strapped onto it. Don't have turret adjustables, so I got my dime out, rolling the optics up. It's pretty nasty, but it works.
The Cabela's Covenant scopes go on sale every once in a while for like $2.99. That would be what I would go for. The adjustments on them are good. They've got a reticle in them that's Christmas tree. You don't need a coin.
That is an advantage. Yeah.
A disadvantage to them, the turrets, like as you turn them out, they don't have the marks that show that like witness how far up you've turned or how far down you've turned. So you have to remember that stuff.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Most scopes are like that. Only when you get into the upper end do they have those lines, and does the turret actually move? Otherwise, the turret just stays in position as you spin it.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever shot anything far enough. I actually had my optic adjusted high enough to notice that.
It makes a bit difference in CRPS when you have to go like 40 MOA one way, and you've got to like take your optic and like, okay, yeah, there's your 0. Now I got to go, okay, there's 15 and 30 and 35, right? But now, did I have it set it in for 300 or 200? Uh-oh. Now what do you do?
Yeah.
Well,
all the way back down to 0.
Yeah, all the way back down to 0. So down to mechanical 0. And then hopefully you know how to dial up from there, right? And that's what happened if you lose yourself on this. But if you had one of those ones with little lines on there, you'd be able to tell. Yeah. But that's not the value price choice. Yeah. Or sorry, the value priced one would be the Cabela's Covenant, I think, for $2.99.
Yeah, I would recommend buying the best thing, the best that you can afford and that you want to spend the money on. And I would go on Gun Nuts, take it with a grain of salt, but throw that question on there and prepare for the avalanche. And
or they like Project Maple Seed or CRPS. Yeah. They both have Facebook pages. I would just ask there.
Yeah. And the other thing you can do is you can go out to matches and see what people use and what they like, because I have never met a gunny who isn't like, oh, you want to check out my gun? You want me to talk about it? Let me tell you everything about it. Do you want to shoot it? No problem. Get on the line. So we're all like that with our toys. So
I mean, in terms of popularity at the CRPS matches, the Savage Mark IIs are really popular. There's your $250 choice. Some people do shoot 1022s and that kind of thing. And I mean, you can get enough accuracy out of one of those to still be competitive in this kind of thing. In the non-production area, they have the CZ 455s and 457s. Those are pretty popular and they're pretty accurate. The Tikka T1X, I think, is another one to take a look at. Yeah, I would look at those. I'm not sure on upper end optics. I mean, this Vortex Diamondback Tactical that I have here is right around $500. But I haven't had it out to the range yet to compare it with my Cabela's Covenant to see like, where the optical, it's probably difference in optics on that, right?
I would be much, much clearer.
Yeah. But, that's as far as I would go. I mean, if you want, like, just seeing that he only has a single shot 22 right now, perhaps the right option is that Savage Mark II or the 455 CZ, but somewhere in there. Yeah.
One thing I would say is, unless you're absolutely 100% sure you're going to be getting into this heavy duty, don't blow a ton of money on gear, because I see people come out to some of our matches. Like I said, I don't do CRPS, but some of our matches, guys will come out who have really never done it much, but they sort of came out once, heard about it, and they're like, oh my God, I'm mortgaging my house. This is my life. And then 6 months later, you don't see them again, or they come out like once in a while. So don't blow an enormous amount of money, but spend what you can afford, get what you can afford
on the specialty gear, right? Because I think like the nice thing, like if you were to get a good scope with good turrets that tracked well, you could probably use it on something else. Like if you don't want to do CRPS anymore and you wanted to move on from it, you could probably use that scope somewhere else. The 22, I think most good bolt action or semi-auto 22s are pretty utilitarian. You could probably use those for other things. Maybe on like don't go crazy and get like a $200 bipod right off the hop. Like don't go get like an Atlas just for the sake of it, right? Yeah.
Unless it makes you look a lot better, in which case, whatever.
Well, it makes you shoot better, definitely. Yeah. Cool. All right. Moving on. This next one's from Spencer. I never thought I'd have to prompt Trevor to talk about a new gun he bought, but I'd love to hear more about his new 4570 lever action and what he's going to be doing with it. I believe we've established that it's cowboy action, right? that he's doing this 45-70?
I don't know what else you would do with it.
Yes, I think just 45.
Groundhogs?
Groundhogs in period correct gear for cowboy action.
Of course. Yeah.
Let's see here. Spencer continues. From what I've seen, there's basically 3 generations of Marlins. First, there's the old JM stamped guns made pre-Remington. Then there's the hated Remlins that date from after Remington bought them until around 2014 or so. Finally, there's the new Marlins from 2014 or so, after they scrapped the old blueprints and machines and started over from scratch. I have a couple of JM guns, and they're really nice rifles. I almost had a Remlin in 357 Magnum, and it was a total piece of crap. I struggled with that gun for about a year, replacing broken parts and cleaning up manufacturing flaws before I finally sold it, having done all the work the factory should have done in the first place. Around 2016, I bought one of the new Marlins in 45 Colt, since they were basically giving them away post-Trump. They started off with the new 44 Magnums first, moved on to the 45s, Colt and 70, and are now shipping the 30 cal guns. I'm guessing this is what Trevor got. The new Marlins aren't as nice as some of the old JMs when it comes to fit and finish, especially for the stocks. However, they seem to be solid guns, well built and mechanically sound, even if they don't have quite the same attention to detail as the old JM guns did. That being said, I'm kind of curious on what generation Trevor got and what he's going to be doing with a 4570. As Adriel mentioned last week, it's definitely a cowboy gun in that it was used as a buffalo cartridge back in the day. I think Marlin was one of the few old lever guns that could handle it as well, although I'd have to go back through some of the old Forgotten Weapons videos to check on that. A lot of folks in Georgia hunt everything from deer to bears with them, since that big, heavy bullet makes them perfect for cutting through heavy brush that we have in most of the northern part of the state. I have a JM guide gun picked up years ago in that caliber, and it's a thumper. Way too much recoil and cost to just use at the range, but I could see having it with you if you were facing a pissed off bear. Anyway, Doc Weston would be proud of Trevor for finally embracing his inner cowboy. Hopefully he'll let us know when he picks up a single action army. The Uberti clones are actually pretty nice. So we'll know the transition from tactical Trevor to Fud Furlot is finally complete. Just kidding. Sort of. I'm betting he'll have a cowboy pistol within a year. Best wishes to all, Spencer in Smyrna. P.S. I was trying to think of some good cowboy action names for Trevor to use when he gets his pistol and the rest of his cowboy gear set up. They usually seem to be 3 parts, with a name, a description, and some kind of attitude like being mean or evil. At first I was thinking about the teacher thing. He could be Mean Teacher Trev, or if he was in a leg shaving phase, Mean School Marm Furlot. I don't think they actually had real insulation back then, but they did use hay for the tasks, so maybe Evil Hay Bale Furlot? I'm sure there's lots of folks out there that can think of some better ones, but I just wanted to get the ball rolling. And that's from Spencer. Dave, did you want to take the next one? Dave, are you here, man? Dave, is it just me talking by myself?
Pretty much.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
I'm back, sorry.
Did you want to take the next one from Edmund here?
Yeah, sure. From Edmund regarding Trevor's cowboy alias. Seeing as Trevor is hairy and surly, I suggest he be named Grizzly Furlot. I was thinking with like hairy, surly Trevor, but Grizzly Furlot's fun. I think he would look swell in a 10-gallon hat, snakeskin boots, and a large belt buckle. Edmund. And like no pants or a shirt, like just the snakeskin boots, a buckle, and a 10-gallon hat. What the hell is wrong with you?
What kind of fantasy is this? Whew.
I'm not sure we should be reading this on the air. This is no longer family friendly. We'll just bleep all that.
Just take it all out. No, I want. I'm too lazy.
Well, hopefully he wears at least a cup.
I wonder, do we have any graphic design people who follow the show who would be able to like mock up what this potentially could look like? That'd be really interesting.
Well, we could ask Gavin to do it. He might do it.
Oh yeah, he's handy with the Photoshop. Yeah. Like it needs to be done. If you'd like to email in some cowboy name suggestions for Trevor, send your suggestions in to slamfireradio@gmail.com.
Or if you're a cartoonist and you would like to submit some drawings of what Trevor might look like wearing only a 10-gallon hat, snakeskin boots, and a large belt buckle, you may do that as well. Please
keep it to yourself.
please include "do not look at this" or open the attachments on the subject line. Thank you.
For your eyes only. Yeah. Something like that. I don't know. Podcast app reviews. We don't have any app reviews this week, but if you wanted to review us on iTunes or one of those kind of things, head on over to iTunes or whatever podcast app you use and give us a review. Usually helps with people finding the show and knowing about it. We don't have any new Patreon supporters this week, but if you'd like to help support the show, head on over to patreon.com/slamfireradio and you can help us there. Shoutouts. Do you have any shoutouts, Dave?
Thank you to Lori and Adam for being my chauffeurs for the GAT show. I really appreciated that.
Very nice of them. Finally, join one or more of our national firearms associations, such as the CCFR. Like us on Facebook, and we'll see you next week.
Have a great week, guys, and thank you for the invite, Adrian.
No problem.
So if you have any comments or questions for the show, please send an email to slamfireradio@gmail.com. Now go grab a gun and shoot something.
When the talking is over, it's time to get a gun.